sand everywhere. Oh no.
This is the 2024 Yamaha YZ125 two-stroke. It's one of the most fun bikes on the track. I'm Josh Mosiman, and welcome to another MXA Tested video. Retailing for $7,099 is the YZ125 two-stroke. That's the base model though. This bike, $7,299 because it's the 50th anniversary of the YZ125. All of the MXA test riders love this bike. We appreciate it. It's extremely fun to ride on the track, and today we have Connor Styers holding it wide open at Glen Helen. On the dyno, the YZ125 hits 35.6 horsepower. Comparing that to the KTM, the new fuel-injected model from KTM, that is 37 horsepower. And the old carbureted KTMs, those were 38 horsepower. So still down on the power, but this bike was all new in 2022. It jumped up just slightly on the scales. This bike weighs 199 pounds, and it still feels extremely light on the track and easy to put on the stand. And that's one of the best parts about the 125 two-stroke. As for the graphics, we already talked about it. These are based off the 1993 YZ models. Yamaha has been making YZs for 50 years, but that's actually not the first two-strokes that they made. They made the DT1 250 all the way back in 1968. Yamaha has a long history of making great two-strokes, and we appreciate that they haven't changed this bike too much, just updating that engine in 2022, getting a little more horsepower out of it. MXA, we have a lot of test riders who help us out with photos and with testing. Connor Styers, he's a big advocate for the MXA wrecking crew, and he was on the YZ125 today, and he has a lot of YZ125 experience from the past. Let's talk to him now.
All you have to do is just mix gas and kick ass, you know what I'm saying?
All right, guys, this is Connor Styers. Connor, you've been riding the 450 lately, you've been riding your 250 lately, and we threw you back on the YZ125 today.
Yeah.
First off, how fun was it?
Oh my gosh, this bike is incredible. The first few laps were a little scary. I forgot that these things don't have engine brake. 2 or 3 years, I was on these bikes from about 2018 until 2021. So it was about 3 years of only 125s, and I don't know what happened to me. Apparently I forgot that two-strokes are a thing, and I need to get back on them today, and honestly, it was a blast. Like, these things are the ultimate play bike. So much different than what they were back then, honestly. The new 22 model is something that really makes me reflect on the 21 and really think about how that bike ran. This one has a lot more middle to top, and I feel like the old 21s had a lot more bottom compared to these new ones. And I wish we could have a 50 tooth. We could put that thing on here. I think it really helped. The second gear is a little low, but I feel like a 50 tooth around GH would get me up that uphill real quick.
So what Connor's referring to, the 22 model was all new. The frame, suspension were the same, but they updated the subframe, they updated the intake to get more air into the airbox, and they have updated almost the entire engine on the 2022 YZ125. I used Connor and we used our buddies YZ125 as 2021 model to kind of go back to back, 21 versus 22. Obviously for 23 and now for 24, which is this model is, carried over, no major changes, no changes at all actually. Difference between 21 and 22, you can throw a ton of parts off your 21 model on this bike. Plastics are different, seat is different, and subframe is different, as I already mentioned, as well as the engine. But comparing the two models, like he said, the snap of the throttle, the initial crack, the 2021 and earlier YZ125s are a little bit easier to ride and get out of corners. 2022 model, they did go searching for more mid top end power. They found it, but with that comes, you know, a little more clutch work to get out of the turns. One of the best selling points for the Yamaha YZ125 isn't that it's the fastest bike on the track. It isn't that it's the most modern bike on the track, as it hasn't changed so much since 2005 when it got this new frame, and then 2006 when it got the KYB SSS forks. But because of that, there are so many old parts that can fit on this bike. All the aftermarket tuners know how to make a YZ125 work well on the track, and it's cheap and easy to work on. Connor, you're 19 years old. You're riding 4-strokes now. How much harder is it to work on your 4-stroke than it was your YZ125s back in the day?
Just to get started, I mean, you don't even have oil filters on the new, these bikes. And you have to do all oil filters. You have to do oil change all the time. The airbox itself, oh my, don't get me started about the new YZ250s. Those things are scary. These things, at least, if I can change the airbox or the air filter, and it's super easy. You just go in there and grab it. But the new ones, it just goes right into the motor, any dirt, sand, anything. And I've had so many bikes, so many motors go out just because I go blow out a corner over there, and all of a sudden I have all this sand packed in there and it's going right into my motor. And next thing I know, I'm calling my dad, telling him, "Hey Dad, I got $3,000 on my bill right now. My bike just blew up. Sorry about that." But the good thing is these things don't have any cams, injectors, or anything like that. They just are stock 2-stroke action, super powerful, super fun. A blast to ride, and I couldn't stop smiling all day, even though I had a little bit too much fun in a left-hander earlier and I took a header, but that's what it's all about, man. I felt like a kid again. I bounced right back up and I was like, wow, let's do it again, you know what I'm saying? So it was a good time, so.
I like it. Alright guys, so that's it for our YZ125 tested video. If you want any more information about this bike, motocrossactionmag.com. We have tons of tests on this bike forever, all the way back to 2005 when this generation bike first came out, also even further back. Also on our YouTube channel, tons of videos of us testing YZ125s, talking about all the details. The 2022 one, that one we really got in depth. We have our 2023 125 shootout where we compare this to the fuel injected KTM, Husky, and gas models. Check them out. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Dude, good job. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You have to buy an oil filter every 2 oil changes, and so that's even 20 bucks more.
Yeah.
Every time you change it.
Yeah.
It's expensive, dude.
I get you.
Ow. That hurt.